Hi, my name's Rita Crompton, and I am the President and CEO, Chief Executive Officer of Archimedes Offspring. And today I'm here with Ray Baraska. He is the Chief Operating Officer of Archimedes Offspring and Executive Director of the investor side of Archimedes Offspring. We were having an interesting conversation, and I asked him to share this with everyone about phony baloney money. So, Ray, tell us, what is phony baloney money?
Okay. Phony baloney money is money that people don't really have and try to wave in front of your face in spite of that fact, or really have, but you'll never get your hands on any of it. Let me explain. You have two types of people who will try to prey on you. One of them is a person that has absolutely nothing going for them at all, but pretends that they are loaded. Or alternatively, while they might not pretend that they're loaded, they pretend that they know somebody who's loaded. And because of their intimate relationship with this person or persons, they're going to be able to get you an audience with them. And once you have that audience, it's a sure thing that you're going to get funded by them. Now, when I first came to my current home state of Colorado, the place was plagued by them. They were everywhere. And that was right after the implosion of the dot-coms in the early 2000 period. Fortunately, there aren't as many of them in Colorado as there used to be. But there is another type of predator now, and that is venture capital or angel capital. And why do I say that they are predators? Principally because they create the buzz and the hullabaloo over a thing called the startup community, and they encourage and inculcate into the young folks that are here, into the millennials that are here, this desire to be part of that community, holding out the hope that somehow, if they work collectively, collaboratively together, they will be able to qualify for venture capital financing, or at worst, for angel capital financing. The sad reality is that in spite of the tremendous number of hours and effort and time and some money of their own that these young folks put into their businesses, the chances of them ever qualifying for venture capital or even for angel capital are slim to none. The percentage is less than 5%, way less than 5%. In fact, I'm being generous when I say 5%. So when we talk about phony baloney money, what we're talking about is money that really doesn't exist, at least insofar as you're concerned. Now, what is some non-phony baloney money? What is money that really is accessible to you as an inventor, for instance? And I'm sure that Rita has spent hours talking about how foolish it is for most inventors to think about a startup as the way to commercialize and monetize their invention. So putting that aside, let me talk about some real opportunities for inventors in terms of being able to secure funding for your invention. Archimedes Offspring is a brand new model. It's never existed before. While it's fashioned along the lines of a mutual fund, it has far greater flexibility and far greater diversity in terms of diversification of risk than mutual fund would have. That's one aspect of Archimedes Offspring. Another aspect of Archimedes Offspring is the relatively low dollar limitation that we impose on what an inventor can expect to secure in the way of financing. You might say as an inventor, well, why is that a good thing? Well, it's a good thing because it means you're not giving away the store in order to get the financial help that you need. You can get away, depending on the quality of your invention, with giving away as little as 10% ownership in your invention in order to secure as much as $75,000 in financing. In addition, once you secure that financing, it's not necessarily certain that that 10% will continue to remain with Archimedes Offspring. You have an option to buy that 10% back at a point in time where your invention might have been sufficiently developed that you see some real opportunities for placing that invention into your own startup and thereby increasing your chances for actually obtaining venture capital and angel capital financing. So Archimedes Offspring offers something that has not existed in the marketplace before in terms of financing. It offers the inventor, regardless of where they'd ultimately like to end up, whether it's as a licensor of an invention, or as a seller of their invention, or as someone who's able to ultimately secure venture capital or angel financing for their startup company. Archimedes Offspring offers you an onboard ramp to get to that place where it would otherwise be impossible to get. So, to reiterate, Archimedes Offspring offers you something that's never existed before, and it is by no means anything even remotely resembling the phony baloney money that we just spoke about.
So, and thank you, Ray. An example, a great example I have is I met a young couple on the East Coast. They had put $600,000 into their product, and all they had was a functioning prototype. And now they were fantasizing about how much money they were going to get from venture capital. Okay, so first of all, they didn't have something that venture capitalists would be interested in. You might want to know that before you spend a lot of time going after the phony baloney money. The other thing is, if I was a venture capitalist and I was talking to someone that had wasted that much money getting to a functioning prototype, I'd say, why would I invest in you, Mr. Inventor? You made a lot of mistakes and I don't trust you with our money. So keeping in mind, when you are making those decisions, don't get sucked down the rabbit hole until you know what things really look like. Venture capital, right? They're looking for specific things, all right? And you can be enticed by different groups to go after venture capital when, if you really were paying attention, you would know there's no chance you would get venture capital funding because you don't fit into their parameters. And they get to set those. But in the meantime, you have spent a ton of money. So don't go after the phony baloney money, one step at a time, and take a look at Archimedes Offspring. It is a mentorship funding mechanism that helps you set boundaries, that gives you the reality check, and then helps to fund you in a step-by-step process so that you can actually be successful and maybe grow into the startup you would like to be.
Yeah, and one final caveat. Because being in a startup community is such a trendy thing right now, it's very easy to find dozens and dozens and dozens of people who will encourage you to apply your efforts and time and what money you have into pursuing that type of development of your idea. It is a waste of time. If you want to get moving quickly on your invention, one of the best ways to do that is to spend a little bit of money that's required in order to qualify for the vetting process for Archimedes Offspring, and then see whether or not you get approval after the vetting process is concluded. Even if you don't get approved during the vetting process itself, you will learn volumes of useful information that will help you guide you in terms of making decisions about your invention for the future. It will help you prevent spending thousands of dollars unnecessarily in pursuing a path for an invention that may have very little chance of being commercially developed and monetized. So be careful about what you hear in these startup communities. There are a lot of evangelists and devotees of startup, but the truth is there are very few options actually available to the average inventor. Check out Archimedes Offspring. Do yourself a favor. Start there first.
And I have got, as Ray said, several videos related to the steps for Archimedes Offspring. So go to the site, archimedesoffspring.com. Follow us. You can find us on Archimedes Offspring on YouTube and see some of the videos. You can email me at Rita@Archimedes Offspring and ask your questions. Thank you so much for joining us.
Have a good day.